it going? Welcome to the Plant Killer's Kitchen. This is where the magic happens, where I kill all the plants. I wanted to make a video today because I have gotten a lot of requests on direct messages, personal messages, asking me recipes and how is the best way for someone to transition to a plant-based diet. And there is a lot of different ways you can go about that, but I really just wanted to summarize and show what my kitchen looks like. What are some staples in my diet that helped me to succeed? Not all vegan, plant-based diets are the same. There are a lot of wrong ways to do it. There's a lot of people who have succeeded their entire lives eating vegan. I want to show you that after 2 years of some thorough research and many years of being pretty health focused, this is the food that I have gathered that has helped me to succeed, to be physically active. I'm not withering away. I'm gaining muscle. I'm getting stronger. I'm able to hike all the time. I have a lot of energy and I sleep really well. I recover really well. I also want to give you just a couple of tips to help inspire you to get into the kitchen, because I know it's really hard with just the busyness of life and family and work to balance spending time on your feet putting together food in the kitchen. So I just want to show you what works for me. Let's bring out the food. Work, damn it. This is my life right here. This is what fuels all of this. Alright guys, so I want to take you through just a couple groups of food to kind of stay on track through this mess. So let's start over here with the fruit. So I got dark cherries. I usually have some type of mix, like a mango, banana, strawberry mix. These are my frozen fruits. Blueberries. I also keep fresh fruit as well that I like to put in my oatmeal. Sometimes frozen goes good in there too. Tomatoes are a fruit, so I put them over here. Avocados are also a fruit, but I think I put them over here somewhere. And I usually have about 12 bananas at a time. I'm down to my last sad banana. I actually like to get them pretty brown because I use them for baking a lot. The fruit I basically use mostly for smoothies. I put them on my oatmeal in the morning for my second breakfast. At night, if I have like a craving for something sweet, I'll just get a bowl of fruit with maybe some nuts and some coconut shavings, and that satisfies any type of sugar craving that I have. So I used to be terrified of fruit. I used to think that it would make me fat because I grew up in a bodybuilder family and was taught that, but I actually am leaner since I started upping my intake of fruit, and it's also just super important to eat fruit as far as antioxidants, fiber, for your stomach, for your gut health. It's really, really important. So dates are also a huge staple in my diet. They go really good in the smoothie. They're high in fiber, and they're like nature's candy. I don't know if you've ever had a bite of a date, but they're so sweet. So instead of like using maple syrup and stuff in baking goods and ingredients or sauces, I'll just add a couple dates in there and it sweetens it up really, really well. Next is protein. So my protein kind of blends into my fats a little bit because usually what's high in protein is also high in fat and vice versa. So as a vegan, I depend a lot on beans. I've never eaten so many beans in my life, and I love them so much. I eat beans pretty much every day, and I kind of brought out a bunch of different varieties. I have white beans, black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, which I don't even think chickpeas are beans, lentils, all really high in iron and a really good source of folate. Lentils are a really healthy legume. Really, it's better to get dried beans so they're not like soaking in like an aluminum can all the time, but it's so much easier to just have canned beans on the go to make something quick. I make a lot of burritos, a lot of Buddha bowls. I sometimes make my own hummus by just blending up the chickpeas with a few ingredients. Just remember, even with canned beans, when they're already cooked, to rinse out the excess fluid in the can to avoid gas, because that'll help you a lot. little tip. Tofu. So tofu is a really big staple in my diet. Sometimes I'll go like weeks without eating it just because I'm not craving it, but then I will eat it every day. Tofu contains plant estrogen. It's not the same as mammalian estrogen. It is literally 1/1000th of the strength of mammalian estrogen that's in our bodies. So the myth of soy has been debunked as far as like tofu, soy sauce, soybeans, like edamame, you know, where a lot of Asian countries have been living off of for thousands of years. I have grown to really love tofu. I recommend buying it firm so you don't get that super soft texture. And it really tastes like nothing until you season it. You want to do like a dash of oil, and with whatever seasonings you like. It is so good. If you've had it once, don't let that be the end all if you didn't like it, because there's a million ways to eat it. There's about 20 grams of protein in this, and I can eat about like half of it at once. So it's about 10 grams of protein. It's also a really good source of iron and calcium. So then I have my walnuts, my hemp seeds, my chia seeds are all really good in omega-3s. So they help balance your omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. So these are really, really crucial in like a vegan, active person's diet. I sprinkle hemp seeds on my salads. Walnuts I put in my pancake. I'll sprinkle on my oatmeal. I put them pretty much on anything that I can, any chance I get. I think they're super good. I don't eat these macadamias a lot. They're expensive too. I've had these for like a month. I don't even know why I brought these out, but they're also a really good source of fat. Next, I have my vegan protein patties. So these ones from Costco only have 5 grams of protein in each one. I prefer the ones at Trader Joe's. They have a high protein, but they don't have it all the time, which frustrates me. They have a high protein vegan patty and there's 20 grams of protein in just one. But by the time that you make a sandwich with hummus, Dave's bread, I mean, you're gonna have like 15 to 20 grams of protein in a sandwich. So these are great. These are what I use to go hiking. Peas, in 1 cup of peas, it's like 8 grams of protein. I have my almond butter, which I recommend if you buy any type of nut butters, you make sure the ingredients are just the nut itself. So like the only ingredients is organic roasted almonds. You don't want something with a bunch of like other added sugars to sweeten it or oils and flavors, you know? Cashews are a big staple in my diet. Those of you who follow me on Instagram know this. I make cashew cheese all the time. This is what I use to make my sauces creamy. And a little trick with cashews, so you don't have to soak them, just bring water to a boil, add the cashews, take it off the heat and cover with a lid for 15 minutes. And it makes them really soft, blend really well to make creamy in whatever way you decide to use it. I got almonds. I sprinkle this on my oatmeal, and I like to take a pack of it with me like while I'm traveling with hemp. I'll make a bag. Here, I'll show you. This is a bag of like goji berries, because they're dried, with all these different nuts and seeds. And I'll just sprinkle this whether on salads or oatmeal or whatever so that I get my protein and fat intake. See, I have this coconut fat milk. I use that in like my cream of mushroom soup. It's super good. So any type of recipes that call for something creamy, I'll use usually coconut fat milk. This salad topper I use as a trail mix. It has cranberries, seeds, like pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. So now that we got through this, I want to bring you over to my carbs. These are like my 3 main sources of carbs: potatoes, oatmeal, and quinoa. I try to have oatmeal every morning. It's really good to keep you slim and energized, and it digests pretty slowly, so it keeps you full longer. These are complex carbs, which are very different from refined carbs. All carbs are not equal. I eat carbs like crazy being on a vegan diet, but I stick with very unrefined complex carbs. This is what gives me energy. It's what my body needs, my brain needs to function, and it keeps you full longer. Like, a lot of vegans really struggle when they first transition to a plant-based diet because they go from eating no carbs, high calorie meats to eating like plant-based protein with very low carbs, and they feel weak and they feel hungry all the time. I feel very successful, and I only eat I eat probably 4 or 5 times a day, but I never feel like I'm gonna lose my mind of hunger as long as I'm eating like plenty of carbohydrates to hold me over. These complex carbs will make you feel satiated so that you're not craving other bad foods as well. Over in this area is kind of my more processed foods. So I try to be like a predominantly whole food vegan. Obviously eating straight from the ground from trees is what we were made to do. So I know that that's how I'm going to be the most successful. So I eat mostly like 80 to 90% whole foods, with very little processing. And this is more of like my processed section, and I try to keep it limited to this, so they just have like a little bit of added ingredients. I love these chips from Costco. I sprinkle these on salads with salsa, and I'll make like a taco salad with some beans. So good, I love that crunch. As for bread, I eat tons of Dave's bread. It has 21 seeds and nuts in it, so it's a really good source of protein and fat, and it has very, very little like added ingredients. That's why I really, really like it. Then as for pasta, I eat pasta like crazy. The trick with eating pasta and not blowing up is getting bean or quinoa pasta. This one is from Costco. It's not my favorite because it still has organic white rice flour. I prefer it to be all bean, all quinoa, or brown rice. So this has lasted me a while. I recommend getting like a red lentil pasta. The black bean pasta from Trader Joe's is not my favorite because it's really easy to overcook and it gets kind of mushy, but you can find some really good ones out there. Chickpea pasta is also really, really good. But it just has more nutrients and it's a complex carb, so your body's going to digest it better rather than packing on the weight. I do the same with my noodles. An organic millet and brown rice pasta I get from Costco anytime I want to make soups or some type of like pho at home. Chickpea flour. For those of you who have seen in my previous videos, I use this to make a chickpea omelet. So good. It's a really good egg substitute. And again, in this bag, I love because the only ingredient is organic chickpeas. It doesn't have a whole bunch of added other flours and stuff. And I got my plant milk, which is fortified with vitamin D, riboflavin, magnesium, vitamin E, a whole bunch of other stuff. Just cow's milk is fortified with a bunch of different ingredients too. By the way, like most of the nutrients that you get from animals are fortified. So you want to make sure when you transfer over to like a vegan diet, if you're depending on your vitamin D from being fortified in animals, or your B12, which doesn't naturally come from an animal, the B12 that people consume has been injected, whether it's injected into an animal's feed or a lot of cows get shots of vitamin B12. So I also wanted to show you the supplement I get all my nutrients from these amazing foods, right? But I want to cover my bases because I'm not always in the sun. B12 it's washed off our vegetables. So I take a whole food vitamin 3 times a day to kind of cover my bases. And I got a blood test 2 weeks ago. They tested me for just about everything, and everything came back spot on. So I was really, really excited about that. This is what I live off of. This and a whole bunch of spices. I have a massive spice cabinet, which makes everything just taste amazing. And I change things up. Like I use these same ingredients, but I just change up recipes so it tastes like I'm eating something different all the time. So I really recommend to keep yourself motivated to cook and to eat healthy, to change up your recipes. Because if you're eating the same thing all the time, you're not going to be craving that. You're going to prefer to eat something that's not going to be as good for you. And I noticed that I save a lot of money by eating all of these things. I only have to buy certain products like once every few weeks, sometimes even months. Like I've had these chia seeds for months because it came in a bag that was this big from Costco. Obviously too, I have this is my greens. I live off of onions, bell peppers, garlic, like a bunch of other stuff. Really, I just wanted to show you the macronutrients, not so much like the micronutrient intake, and just kind of summarize it. But this